Well, I want to welcome back my guest, Chris Elmore, and along with your host, Dana Labreck, as we continue the broad subject of healthy lifestyle. And tonight we will touch on wise choices that individuals may make along with professional advice from their physician.
Oh, wow. Big subject. And Dana, right out the gate, I have to ask you, wisdom in what you do is so important. And it's, you can find in so many places, but make war with much counsel, right? And you get the advice from others. We understand this. More
Right.
importantly, we get advice and true wisdom from people that have walked the path that we're wanting to walk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me ask you, when you say wise, in what area are you actually looking at and thinking of?
Well, when I say wise, is it wise to go and eat chocolate donuts, drink a beer, um, smoke a cigarette? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not even
All right.
because is it wiser for somebody to eat their vegetables than it is for somebody to eat a chocolate donut? That I guess that's where I'm trying to bring correlation to healthy lifestyle because to me, as we age, especially, it's important that we know the difference between how much sugar intake we can take, or even salt or sodium, whatever you want to say, into our systems, because it's so important to maintain that um, ingestion of sodium or sugar content, sucrose, whatever you want to say. I mean, there's so many different names we can go along with that. But um, my first question is, what is it about our perspectives, yours and mine, that you may personally feel is a good solution for those individuals who are questioning, do these two really know what they're talking about?
Uh, that is a good question.
Because I know you
And
can answer for yourself, but I wanted to throw that out there because I wanted you to feel comfortable with what you may say or not want to say, or even do say, because I'd
so,
rather you question me.
and yes, absolutely. And that's the whole point, is a dialogue. And I think the first statement is always what we've talked about a couple different times, which is sustainability. Okay. So it's not a rule. So one, you need to make decisions that are sustainable. So if you
Right.
say, I'm never eating chocolate donut again, the moment, and if you love chocolate donuts, ultimately you're going to end up having a chocolate donut. And the moment you do that, you have now failed and opened that Pandora's box. So
Right.
make sustainable choices. Two, we've also talked about this, which is don't get caught up in rules. I can't have a chocolate donut. Well, that's a rule. What's the principle? What's the value behind it? So we want to get to, what are your values? Let's tackle the beer item. I'm not a drinker. If I go to the doctor's office, do you drink alcohol? No. When's the last time you had alcohol? I can't even think, that far back. However, tonight, when I was out with doing the client vendor piece that I had to earlier today, they're like, let's have a beer. It was appropriate for the value and fulfillment that I was doing. I had a beer. However, take what you said, which is understanding what you're putting into your body. So if you do have reactions to certain things or an awareness of your physiology, you act with wisdom. And you say, this is what I can do. This is my limit. Like I had a beer. It was social, it was appropriate for the situation. It's just not something I go out and I do on and of my own. So wisdom is looking and understanding your values, what's sustainable for you, what you can realistically do, and understanding your you, which you may look at that and go, no, 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 that's not the appropriate action. And that goes back to don't get caught up on a rule, okay? What I might find interesting and you find interesting are two different things. Guess what?
Right.
It's still interesting. Just because it's not interesting to me isn't interesting to you.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and I truly understand exactly what you're saying as far as rules, because we're not in school and we're not little kids. We're grown adults. I mean, we're right here at the beginning of, I mean, I'm a little bit old. I don't know how much older I am than you, but right here at the golden years, because once you reach pre um, retirement, then you actually are that much closer to where you have to understand what actually you can ingest. Because there's nothing wrong with having a beer, especially if you have control over it. See, me, I didn't. That's why I don't drink at all anymore. And it's been since 2014. See, but I had to do that because of, we're talking about over 45 years of drinking. And, you know, that's just like
Exactly.
somebody, right. And it's like somebody addicted to nicotine or whatever. And that's why I said it's all according to you personally and what you feel is right for yourself, and you know, me according to myself what I feel is right, because we can never say that you're wrong and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're right, because the thing is, if we want to make a good collaboration, we have to understand each other's perspective and go on from there, because we both have something good to bring to the table. That's the way I feel about
You're correct, Dana. And I love the fact too of the chocolate donut that you brought up. And matter of fact, I think you'd actually seen a video I'd done earlier before about eating cake.
it. Right.
And you eat it. And it's like there are times where it's completely appropriate, even if you're on a keto diet, to go take that sugar in.
Right.
Don't get caught up on the rules.
No, because I love chocolate. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Do you believe we could or should give more with our experiences here? And I truly appreciate the time since you have been here with me and given free insight up to this point. And now it's our fifth prod, podcast. Listen to me,
Wow.
getting tongue tied. Podcasts appearing together so far.
Becca, what was the core question, Dana?
Do you believe we could or we should give more with our experiences here for people?
It comes down to, and I smile a little bit inside because I think I had this conversation just a week ago with a friend of mine, and they were talking about their children.
Right.
And I looked at them and I said, it's the same conversation that I gave my little ones, which is in life, you're going to learn a lesson. Now, whether you learned a lesson from my experiences, someone else's experiences, or you have to go through the school of hard knocks, you're going to learn the lesson. So I think that's one of the great things. If people want to ask specific questions, happy to tackle them, because between the two of us, we've got over a century of fun games and experience. And we've seen a lot of different things. We've walked a lot of paths. You mentioned with the alcohol. I've gone down the nicotine route, and I can't even think how many decades ago that's been. But I know that there are just some things I don't walk that. I don't even touch it. There are other people that I know so well that have been in the pharmaceutical realm. There's so many different things that impact our health. And it really comes down to a lot of it: mindset, decisions, values, principles. But sometimes just getting from point A to point B and understanding that those 6 inches can be a really long journey. And if we can help straighten out that path, that's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And I know people would be excited to hear that because you just hit it the nail on the head. When you said 6 inches, that is the longest journey. No doubt about it. I mean, truthfully, wow, almost 63, and I'm saying, golly, I could have done a lot different than I have in my life, but that's okay. I would have never got to where I'm at. And, yes, I could have made some better choices, but yet at the same time, I could have made some wrong choices too. Even if I think different about one thing, there might have been other areas, that were totally different.
Mhm.
But anyways, you live and learn, and hopefully you definitely learn by it and you're able to teach others so they don't make that same mistake. That's the best service we can do.
Yeah.
So would you say a personal trainer encouraged for many individuals wanting to improve, maybe from slow results, uncertainty of routines, and or just motivation to get to that next level?
So the answer is an easy one in one sense, which is yes, because the value of it, just from a simple accountability and motivational perspective, is a value if that's why. Conversely, you take a look, people probably heard of an individual by the name of Michael Jordan, who had 6 different coaches. So he's at what considered the top of the top of the top. And the guy
Wow.
says, I don't need a coach, I need 6, because he understood that each had a specialty within it. So whether you're beginning and I just need motivation, I need accountability, I just need to know the basics and someone to take you through. Or like when I was competing, amongst other things, I had a coach that just, okay, here's how you pose. Here's how you walk through a routine. So you have personal trainers for different aspects based on where you're going, what you need to do. Could I have learned it? Yes. Would my very first competition be extremely different if I just did it myself? Oh, heck yes, it would be very different. So coaches, what they do is they compress the time that you need to get from point A to point B. And that's what we're doing. So while most people say you only have so much time, you can buy time. Time is for sale. And that's where your coach comes in and you go through and you say, I'm here, I want to get there. How do I do it? And you can do this and eventually get there. Or a coach can say, you do this. How much time did you save going through that? And how valuable is that time for you?
Absolutely. Good point. Would you say that our direction of how, what, why thus far can help the average individual make some decent decisions with their health?
This is foundational, what we've been talking about, because when you start to understand, people why they struggle and the challenges they face. First is just understanding it's okay where you are. And then second is most people are living by rules which just don't apply to them. And so they're trying to meet standards which just don't make sense. So let's clear that away. And if that means that now instead of another 1, 2, 3, whatever years of time struggling with it, you can just wash that away. And it's simple stuff here. Understand what are your values. Okay. And I mean, there's plenty of places where you can go and see how do you determine values? How do you determine what's important to you? How do you progress through this? Where we've done this, where we've taken others through this, where we've walked through this to help people just clear away the clutter and understand what's important and then align their activity with those values. So this is the fundamentals. And when you master the fundamentals, you've got it in the bag.
Right, because you've already got the pudding. So now you might as well go and get it all and enjoy it while you've gotten, like you just said, the fundamentals. That's the beginning. That's the hardest part. And really, that mindset is such a big, big thing for most anybody to be focused and to go in the direction that they really want to get to whatever they're seeking. I mean, if they want to be an elite athlete, if they just want to be a cyclist, whatever we want to say here. Because I mean, I love your philosophy. 2 minutes of exercise, and you can still eat cake and lose weight. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's right. And when it becomes something, anyone can look at that and go, I can do 2 minutes. I can grab a stretchy. Heck, you can stand there. And I was helping a gal out today. She goes, oh, I didn't bring the weights. And I was like, okay, here's how you do a sumo squat. And literally 1-inch sumo squats. That's all it was.
Right.
Now that was 30 seconds. And that was like, oh, okay, yeah, your legs are feeling it. I can show you 30 seconds. And it wasn't like, oh, I got to do all this up, down. It's like 1 inch of movement. And I was like, oh.
That's excellent. Well, I'll call it quits on our video, and we'll just talk for a minute because I want to tell you a few things.
All right.